As a Cobble woman from southwest Queensland, I just wanted to thank the Gumatj people, and in particular my referendum council colleague Galarrwuy Yunupingu for welcoming us to your country, and I pay my respects to your people, your elders past and present. I wanted to say a few words in terms of providing some context to the Uluru Statement from the Heart. As a constitutional lawyer, it's always an honour to attend Garma and celebrate the culture of this region and this people who have led the way on constitutional activism for our people. As Galarrwuy said, this is serious business. We meet in the year of the 50th anniversary of the 1967 referendum, the 25th anniversary of the High Court's decision in Mabo, the 20th anniversary of the Bringing Them Home report, and 10 years since the suite of legislation known as the Northern Territory Emergency Response was introduced. And that suite of legislation dominated the work that we did at the dialogues around the country. Each of these anniversaries bring with them a sentiment that Aboriginal people know only too well, that the law has played a role in the oppression of our people, from the frontier massacres to Australia's very lengthy period of compulsory racial segregation, benignly known as the Protection Era. It is well known, at least in Aboriginal communities, that as the Constitution and Federation and Australia's nationhood came into being, our people were being forced from country and herded onto reserves and missions. A very different kind of nationhood. We know that the law can oppress, but we know that the law can also redeem. On the 26th of May this year, I was involved in a national Indigenous constitutional convention held at Uluru with the permission of the Mutijulu elders. The Uluru Convention saw the delegates adopt a consensus position on the pathway to peace, on the pathway to a settlement. The Uluru Statement from the Heart. Our people have issued many statements over the past few decades. The Bark Petitions of 1963, the Barunga Statement of 1988, the Eva Valley Statement of 1993, the Kalkaringi Statement of 1998, the report on the Social Justice Package by the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Commission in 1995, the Kirribilli Statement of 2015. The Uluru Statement was a call for peace. The roadmap for peace was as follows: a voice, treaty, and truth. This year's theme is Macerrata. Macerrata is about peace. Our people in the dialogues said they wanted peace, and peace comes from truth. As the Uluru Statement begins, our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander tribes were the first sovereign nations of the Australian continent and its adjacent islands, and possessed it under our own laws and customs. This our ancestors did, according to the reckoning of our culture, from the creation, according to the common law from time immemorial, and according to science more than 60,000 years ago. Yet, in the dialogues, the quiet contemplation of the regions was, do our fellow Australians want to know more about our experience in this country? By way of example, the Ross River meeting said the following: participants discussed about a statue of John McDowell Stewart being erected in Alice Springs following the 150th anniversary of his successful attempt to reach the top end. This expedition led to the opening up of the South Australian frontier, which led to massacres as the telegraph line was established and white settlers moved into the region. People feel sad when they see the statue. Its presence and the fact that Stewart is holding a gun is disrespectful to the Aboriginal community, who are descendants of the families slaughtered during the massacres throughout Central Australia. We heard these stories across the nation. As Galarrwuy Yunupingu has said, Macerrata is for the future, but it is based on a truthfulness about the past. We have legitimate grievances, and these grievances need to be carefully worked out and then resolved. So, the process of Macerrata has started. The aggrieved party assembled at Uluru and called the party that it alleges has done it wrong to come forward and meet with it. This is why we are here. The Uluru Statement is in fact a sign of friendship. Many of our old people are dying and they want some peace for their country. I'll just end by referring to two things. I wanted to echo the Prime Minister's recognition of the work of the dialogues. Uluru was a consolidation of that work, but the hard work happened in the dialogues, where people gave up 3 days, a Friday, Saturday and Sunday, to come and sit in the room with us from the Referendum Council and talk about the Australian Constitution. It was difficult work, and there are many people in this room who participated in the dialogues, and I take my hat off to you. This is the most proportionately significant consultation process that's ever been undertaken with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. It engaged a greater proportion of the relevant population than the Constitutional Convention debates of the 1800s, from which Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples were excluded. I also echo the Prime Minister's comments about Galarrwuy Yunupingu's essay, Rom Watungu. I too have read it many times, and it proved constantly as an inspiration and motivation for the members of the Referendum Council in our report. It is why we annexed it to the report of the Referendum Council and urge all Australians to read that essay. And I'll conclude with a quote from that essay. What Aboriginal people ask is that the modern world now makes the sacrifices necessary to give us a real future, to relax its grip on us, to let us breathe, to let us be free of the determined control exerted on us to make us like you. And you should take that a step further and recognise us for who we are and not who you want us to be. Let us be who we are, Aboriginal people in a modern world, and be proud of us. Acknowledge that we have survived the worst that the past has thrown at us, and we are here with our songs, our ceremonies, our land, our language, and our people, our full identity. What a gift this is that we can give you, if you choose to accept us in a meaningful way. Thank you.